Hi folks, so I want to talk to you about what you do before signing a contract, and 5 things before you sign a contract with a contractor. And I guess the most important thing is to actually sign the contract with the contractor. So about once or twice a year I get a telephone call from lovely people who signed contracts or didn't sign contracts, and they're in really bad shape, and it's no fun. It's my hardest work. I never turn it down genuinely because it's so important. I get easier work that's better paid, but sometimes in life you gotta do what you gotta do. And I always remember that as my father did a job for somebody. They were selling a house, there was family upheaval in the background. That stage my father probably could have done with some money, and he just said no, let it go, you just never know. So anyway, that's the reality. So a lot of people trust in the process, they over trust in the process. We just biasedly think everybody's as good as us, and that's not necessarily the situation. It may not be worse, but they can be situationally in desperate situations. So the first one, is there actually a written contract? If there isn't, major red flag, don't go near it, don't even think about it. If he's going to send you over the contract and it never arrives, stop the works, don't go any further. Simple as it's like getting red flags and you're continuing some sort of relationship on any level. It's, if he's reluctant to sign a standard contract, that says it all. You kind of already know there's a problem. Major red flag. It's not a WhatsApp message, and it's not. There's a minor works contract for small works, and then there's other forms of contract. It does matter which one you go, but that as long as you have one of them, you're somewhat home. Do not under any circumstances please sign a contract called the Law Society and CIF contract of 2001, because you're walking yourself into a mountain of trouble. And that's not legal advice, that is anecdotal advice. I'm not a legal, I'm not a solicitor. This is just opinion advice, but I've just seen it too often where people walk in to major trouble on that one as well. For me also as well, I have to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of design and build contracts, because who is looking after your vested interests? If it's a one-sided arrangement, it's too lopsided. Just a personal opinion. So, what are liquidated damages? Are they included? Liquidated damages are the financial sum you're entitled to if the builder overruns the agreement or completion date. I certainly wouldn't be a big fan of enforcing it. I wouldn't be a big fan of enforcing it rigidly. There's too many loopholes, there's too many things, there's too many possibilities. Bad weather, family breakups, marital issues. There's a whole host of reasons that these things can happen on either side of the contract. So you need to be very respectful of it. If you try to be punitive, contractors be punitive back. And that's the one thing that I've learned about contractors over the years. They are extremely decent human beings, but they mirror. If people get aggressive towards them, they mirror back. And on occasions, if you're the other side, you have to get aggressive. So that's the reality. So if it doesn't include liquidated damages, then it can go on forever. So you certainly need that in. is the price genuinely fixed? So a client of mine had started building, all good. Next thing he was telling me an anecdotal story about one of his co-workers. Builder arrived up, and all of a sudden an extra 30 or 40 grand was placed, and all of how or why that contract went really good, but ambiguity is the number one source. Get them to sign, and you sign the drawings as well. So that way it's very clear. But then it's on the drawing, and somebody turns around and says, well, that wall wasn't included. It's on the drawings, how could it not be? You have to take it down to get access to the site, you know. And if you don't know pushback, it is what it is. So I had one particular, no figures, but I had one particular one where the guys took down the garden wall in part, not even all of it. Then they offered to rebuild the garden wall in part, not all of it, and the cost of it was going to be 3/4 of the cost of building all of the construction walls in the house. It was a one-off house. Absolute mad stuff. Mad stuff. So desperate people do desperate things, unfortunately, and I'm not passing judgment. It is the reality. So is the price fixed? What's the retention? What is retention? Throughout the building, you usually hold back 5% of each payment until the defective liability period is over. In other words, if anything goes wrong within that stage, typically 12 months or 6 months. I don't really necessarily have a problem with 6 months, because it's usually around shrinkage and a little bit of settlement, so I don't really have a problem with that. And the contractor comes back to make whatever adjustments need to be made at that stage. It is 5%, and it goes down to 2.5% upon practical completion, which is literally when the house is ready to move into, and but it has to have services. It's got to have electrical services and plumbing services, and they have to be certified. Please make sure of that. Please make sure of that. No matter where you are, Ireland, throughout Ireland, the UK, the world, it doesn't matter. That's the process. Do you understand the variation process? If you don't, you're in big trouble, and if it's not spelled out, you're in big trouble. So the builder identifies a change, comes price it, you agree with it in writing, you instruct the variation in writing, work proceeds. That's a lovely scenario. Doesn't always happen. You can go on site and don't know, like, you know what I mean. I literally saw a hole on the building site, and somebody was trying to charge an extra grand, and you're kind of looking at it and going, "You kidding me?" Like, it's literally an hour's worth of work, if even. So 60, 80, 100 bucks plus materials. Well, there was no materials. Plus power, plus the tools, put in nominal 50, put in overheads, maximum 200, even being overpaid at that, and they were looking for £1,000. So you have to understand, and ideally you want this tied back to the detailed tender you get. You don't get a detailed tender, don't do it. Red flag again. So, where am I looking at? So, that's variations. Be very careful. Contracts protect you when something goes wrong, absolutely, and that's the whole purpose of it. You need to know the above 5 items in there. You need to understand what they are. You need to do more homework, and that is your responsibility. And do not abdicate your own leadership, please. Do not. because because the role you play is mirrored, and it's a psychological one. What you bring to the gap is going to be mirrored, and if you bring chaos, then it will be mirrored. And I have one project at the moment, and the prices are increasing, and they're increasing because the full scope of the work wasn't sorted out at design stage. So there's incremental creep. So need to be on top of that as well, and how we gauge it and work with it. Okay. Contract review before you sign it. Read your contract. Read everything about it. Use AI if you need to understand the clauses. Flag whatever gaps. Okay. Ask pertinent questions. And then use the language. Use the language. Become familiar with it. Okay. So 5 signs of a contract or a contractor that isn't right: no written offer, or very small. I once saw a job for $500,000 and the guy came back with half a page, and he was literally surprised he wasn't getting it. Half a page, life work for somebody's life, a whole working life for half a page, and the guy couldn't understand. Reluctant to include liquidated damages, vague scope, no drawings, specifications. There is an exception to this. There is guys who operate in a smaller level and are entrenched in the neighbourhood. Everybody knows them, everybody trusts them, and they wouldn't be that organised or regimental, but they're decent guys. So there is exceptions, and you got to know what type of social animal you are working at and working with. But also, in any context, any social animal changes situationally. So when we're all social animals, that's just the reality of it. Large payment up front, over 20%, no, nothing. It's enticing, it's possible. I'm dealing with one where a client handed over, I think it was about €80,000. Just insane stuff. But it does happen, and you can't judge people because people are under pressure, they're blinkered, they're under urgency, they're under time, there's rent that they have to get elsewhere, there's kids, there's full family life, and none of this happens in a clear context. Like literally, everybody's got a full life, they've got full-time jobs, they may have partners, they may have children, there may be extended families, there may be sickness in the family, there may be travel issues, and maybe traveling for work. It's a huge thing. So not only do I say be careful about the contract and the contractor, but also be philosophically honest with yourself about when you're going to do the work. Is it the right time for you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and is it the right time for the family as well? So 5 boxes, written contract in place. Yep, gotta be one of these babies. Liquidated damages, full scope of works, written clause, variations. It goes beyond this though, because you also need references. You got to go to job sites. So this is just for the contract. You got to look for professional references. You've got to see the work. You've got to talk to neighbours of the projects that was done. So it's not just the homeowner you go to the neighbour of the homeowner as well. So he's only going to send you to the best jobs. Like, that's the reality, but so that's important as well. Okay, so there's my fee to give people advice, get them through it, to do an analysis, to do up a a contract analysis to point them in the right direction for contracts, to do a whole analysis of the whole project for that. Okay, so there you go. Want to give me a call to really appreciate your time. And just please be cautious, don't rush, and if it looks too good, it is too good, and it's a long time to pay back something, so please, please, please. And the other thing is, it's not, if you get in a mess, you have to pay to get out of the mess. So it's not, you're not starting from fresh. And I would really, really, really recommend an administrator to the contract, whether that's a QS or whether that's an architect or an engineer. If it's major structural work, you're going to need an engineer. If I had to pick one profession to go with in that situation, it would be engineer all day, every day. Okay, and there's loads of really good females and males out there doing it really good. So thanks very much for sharing the time, really appreciate it. Thanks guys.